Hello, hello, everyone. This is your favorite political innovator, David Washington, broadcasting live from the great Mexican state of Sinaloa. Yes, that's correct. Sinaloa. I'm just kidding. That one's for you, Doc, and Doc knows what I'm talking about. Oh, boy. Anyway, I just want to get into it. I just finished, maybe an hour and a half ago, an interview on Live Now from Fox. It's available on X, Facebook, YouTube in the community section. So please check it out. Also on LinkedIn on our Jay Washington page. So please check it out. And we talked about um, pretty much from DHS being funded to redistricting here in Florida and nationwide, and just what to expect coming months or even the coming weeks or days in regards to what's happening politically here in America and internationally. However, right now, I just want to speak very, very quickly about something I discussed with our dear friend Jimmy Afant during the last broadcast From the Margins with James Afant. And I brought up a recent broadcast. What was that? A recent broadcast of Pod Save America. Pod Save America. And it's been a long time since I've listened to a full episode. And was curious about this particular episode. So if you follow Pod Save America, it's probably the leading liberal political podcast in the podcast space. And I was listening to it, and Ken Martin, the DNC chair, Democratic National Committee chair, was interviewed. However, the whole conversation was prefaced by the host of Pod by saying, the Democrats, yes, they have done well in special elections. In these midterm elections or the midterm cycle elections, yes, they've done well. However, we're looking at the big enchilada, the midterms and beyond, of course, and seeing where the Democrats are in regards to preparing for the midterm elections. And what was the concern was that the Democrats are not prepared financially to match wits with the Republicans. And so, that was one issue. Okay, money, it doesn't determine elections completely. It's part of the equation. There's no doubt about that. However, it's the strategy. And Ken Martin spoke to that. But what was curious to me was the other part of the conversation. And that was this 200 odd page autopsy report of what happened in 2024 in Kamala Harris and Tim Walz's loss to Donald J. Trump and J.D. Vance. And that report has not been put out to the public in full publicly. And the host was pressing Ken Martin on that. And there was one part of the podcast where Martin said, hey, we may not have released the full report. However, elements of the report are out there. We're doing what we need to do to be competitive, and those elements are being exercised at this point. And I'm laughing because I don't know how a liberal or Democrat left that podcast thinking that the DNC, Ken Martin, and everyone who puts together the national strategy, all the way down to the local strategies, really have confidence in the strategy that they hope to implement now into the rest of this midterm cycle. I left not feeling confident for the liberals, for the Democrats. How are you supposed to address the deficiencies or even address the positives and elaborate on the positives if you don't have the playbook, if you don't have this 200-page document? I don't know. I mean, I know being a political and a strategist and an advisor, I know how, you know, um, the Harris Walsh and the Democrats lost. I do understand how that happened. However, for everyone else, having this 200-page know, document could, clear up some of the misconceptions, misinformation, inaccuracies, and get everyone on the same page. So again, disappointed by the Democrats. Um, I don't know how you feel about or what you think about this information. I encourage you to go, you know, visit Pod Save America and listen to the episode yourself. However, it was very, very disappointing. And Democrats being Democrats. That's all I can say. And so, on another note, I want to talk about the recent SCOTUS decision on the Voting Rights Act, Section 2, the VRA. And so, am I surprised, shocked, bewildered by the Supreme Court's decision? No, we've been talking about this for well over a year. No. Louisiana versus Callis, Callais, a Louisiana case where in 2020 census, everyone got new numbers. As flawed as they may, because of COVID, the census numbers were just released for each state. And in 2022, state of Louisiana, like other states, they redistricted their congressional districts. There was one district that was majority minority black in Louisiana. This map was drawn by the Republican majority, and they were sued in 22. And they were sued, and a federal judge decided that the map was unfair. And they were sued, the Republicans were sued because of the fact that it was argued that there were more blacks in Louisiana that deserved another district, that they were misapportioned the number of districts based on their population. And so they deserve not one district, but two districts of black representation, minority majority, or majority minority, gee whiz. And so it went back to court in 2024, and the Republicans were ordered to rewrite the map and added a second black district. And then they were sued again. And it went all the way up to the Supreme Court. And what the Supreme Court was saying to the second black district, majority minority district, to the second district, that was illegal because that second district was specifically drawn based on racial priorities. That's illegal. The first one stays. The second one, a no-go. You cannot draw congressional districts based on race alone. Period. Does this mean majority minority districts will no longer exist? Hell no. Back in Chicago, South Side Chicago, you're going to still have minority majority districts or majority minority districts, however you want to put it. I know that for a fact. In the South, you may continue to have, like here in Central Florida, Congressional District 10 is 57, 59% Black majority. That exists in this new map that Governor DeSantis created. That map does exist. So does 2 other districts in South Florida. About the same proportion. Well, let me put it this way. The Black population is approximately 14% here in the United States of America. Right now, Blacks account for 14% of the congressional representation in the US Congress. There are Congress members who represent majority white districts. Hello, Representative Wesley Hunt. However, Representative Hunt, thank you for your service, is a Republican. I think what the liberals and Democrats are concerned about is that there will be Black representatives in the future, and maybe more, maybe less. We don't know. There may be more, there may be less Black representation in Congress, above the 14%, below the 14%. What they're concerned about is that the United States of America, our Congress will see more Black representation or Latino representation or Asian representation or whatever minority representation. However, there'll be Republicans and not Democrats. And I know that's the issue. Period. And honestly, it's all about the character of the congressperson. It's about bringing the best issues, addressing the kitchen table issues for their communities. It's about having the best strategies to win, to deliver for their constituents. It's about being able to negotiate and compromise so that a congressperson can deliver for their community. Optimize that delivery for their community. Do we not? We're going to celebrate. The United States of America is going to celebrate its storied, however, at times very problematic history. It's 250th anniversary. We're not perfect. However, I wouldn't trade living here in the United States of America to live elsewhere. Undeniably, the best country in the world. So, when you as a voter go out and vote, before you do that, sit down, engage the candidates, learn about your new district, learn about the issues that your neighbors may have, and maybe they have the same kitchen table issues as you. Get together with them, engage with them, exercise your civic duties to engage with the people that want to represent you in the halls of authority. Look at the of their character, rather the color of their skin. Aren't we past a racial America? Something. Maybe I'll contact the good people at the Southern Poverty Law Center. Maybe they can give me some insight. But anyway, on that note, I'm hungry. It's a long day already. Great interview with my friend Stephanie Quinu. Please watch her on Live Now from Fox. She is an Emmy Award winning television, media, influencer, personality, all of the above. She's awesome. And please share this content, share everything on the Jane Washington Network with your family members, with your friends, those influencers in the wild, candidates and electeds, anyone that you believe will benefit from what we share with you. Again, I love what I do. I really do. And I hope it shows. And again, Doc, in good spirit, thank you for your comments. I appreciate it. And maybe we can have a conversation in Thai one day. Anyway, everyone, I love you. I appreciate you. Tune in for the David Washington Show. God bless. I'm out of here. Bye now.